Let me mute this. Right. Sorry, guys. We've had to reschedule because Mink had audio issues. He's using a Mac and he's trying to do something through a separate screen share, and he couldn't get the right audio to come through. So it's a problem through his end. He's had to pull out because he wants to get the right one. You have to mute the YouTube site.
All done. Don't worry.
Oh, he's done it. Right, okay. So, yeah, he's having to reschedule. I'm very sorry to everyone that was looking forward to it. I was looking forward to it the most. But if you think I'm BSing, I've got a few witnesses because I got them in to try and help. Chris here, he tried to help as well. So he's a counter witness. So we tried. It didn't work out this time, but we're going to schedule for another time. Yeah, it's very disappointing time indeed, and I'm very sorry. So I don't know what else I can do my side, but let's make the most of a bad situation. I've got Chris on.
Hello.
He's going to go through his paintings that he's done of his own interpretation of Mortal Kombat characters. So we're just going to do an open stream. Anyone can come in if they want to talk, but at the moment we're just going to go with the flow. So, how's it going, Chris?
Yourself?
I'm stressed. I'm sweating as well. I'm so stressed.
These things happen.
All day today, while I was at work, the time went so slow. It's like I couldn't wait to do this interview.
Yeah.
You know, after all that time of waiting and everything else.
Well, these things happen. You know.
I've not eaten. I'm hungry. But these things happen. These things happen. I mean, King Shao's just come in. He's chatting, and I've got to say to him that I'm sorry that it's not what he expected. Mink had technical issues that we have to reschedule. I know that you're the master of retweeting, and I know you are because you do it to everyone's posts. And I know that I'll probably put you out as well. It's just one of them things. You're probably going to see me the most stressed ever on a live stream. I am super stressed. But again, these things happen. So Chris, let's go through your paintings here. Let's get some promotion out. If we go through your latest one, which is your version of Katana. So let's go through how long it took you to do first.
Too long. the hardest pain in the arse out of all of them.
I could tell by all the
yeah.
On it.
I always gave up on it, to be honest. But I took a break for a couple of weeks and then just returned to painstakingly going through all the nooks and crannies and really, I mean, as with the majority, pretty much most of the pieces that I've done, I've tried to sort of take a different angle on the aesthetics of them. Yeah,
they all look different.
Yeah,
all have been done by different artists, which is really good. It just shows your range. Right, Gabo is back, which is Ryu Kang from Twitter. Right, Ryu, we've had to reschedule the thing with Mink because of technical issues. So at the minute, it's just it's a free for all stream. I just thought I have to do a stream and acknowledge everyone that come in wanting to see what Mink had to say while I was questioning him. But it's just technical issues on his side, so we had to reschedule. So sorry about that. Right, okay. I don't know. The katana is really good. It's definitely different to what I was expecting.
What was you expecting? So just tell me off the top of your mind, because obviously you've seen pieces of.
When you were doing it, and then it shocked me because it was different to what I was expecting. But
right.
I says it looks like a mix between like Chinese culture and what do they call it? Like Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
Like Middle Eastern. It was like a mix between the two.
Yeah,
that's what you were going for. So
yeah.
you succeeded in your mission.
It was quite pleasant to hear that when that
Yeah.
remark came from. I thought, oh yes, it worked off. But
Yeah, your mission worked.
it's probably not, it's probably not 100% accurate, but it's sort of like bits of fantasy and bits of, but it's. I think I just wanted it to be visually sort of elegant, but at the same time, she looks quite savage, so to speak. That's the sort of look I was.
It's like you wouldn't pass her off as someone that's I don't know, not ready for anything that comes her way. She looks like she could like she's on alert. She looks like she's on alert. She can handle herself.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like from all of the fan concepts where they've got big breasts and wide hips.
Yeah.
This is a different aesthetic altogether, and
Yeah.
it still works. It still works. As if you say this is my version of Katana, people will be like, straight away. They're not going to be against it. I don't think they'd be against it. I've not seen anyone that's looked at this so far and that's gone, no, don't like it. I reckon people are up for good interpretations, and it's a good interpretation.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah.
That's nice.
I
suppose what you got to do now is Melina right next to her.
Could do.
Instead of just like a colour swap, you could do like little changes that make her stand out as her own. I don't know, make it a bit more savage, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know, or blood spatters everywhere. Like it's like she uses the blood of her enemies as like a I don't know, like a what do they call it? Like you're marking yourself.
Yeah.
Something like that. But okay, nice. Let's move on to your second, which is
again, it's a similar sort of thing. I think in his case, I wanted him to be really sort of. Again, I very nearly went for the sort of Mortal Kombat 2 look, but I was going to redo that with the white and the red stripes and everything. And but then I thought to myself, well, how can I make him look a bit more tactical, so to speak? So I decided to go with sort of plate armor, and but give him sort of loose bottoms at the same time at the bottom anyway, his trousers are and that. And I guess with Baraka, I wanted him to be as savage as possible.
It reminds me of the film 300, and you've always had those weird characters.
Yeah.
The ones who have blades for hands and rings sticking out of every flipping. Every part of it, things like that. That's what it reminds me of. It's kind of like that sort of aesthetic.
Yeah.
Sort of like.
It does bring.
300. What do they call now? I forgot what they're called now. It's so late. Those that are attacking Greece. I forgot what is it? Athens.
The Persians, isn't it?
Where were they attacking? Was it Athens? Oh, I got completely confused. Anyway, yeah. And it shows those weird looking, humans that have been mutilated or mutilate themselves.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
What this reminds me of.
Yeah.
It's too bad you can't show what his arm blades look like, because I like the fact that I give you the idea for it.
Thanks for that.
Instead of one long blade, with like
splitters,
like individual blades that when they come out, they form into one blade. Yeah. And I thought I liked that idea. And I didn't think you'd actually take it on. I just thought
I do.
An idea.
Because as much as I love single blade, as much as I love the look of the single blade coming out of his arms, I sort of, again, at least in my mind, how would that function? Because how could you put a blade in your arm that goes back so far that it interfering with your elbow? So
it was the thing where it's like that comes out and then that comes out and then another one comes out. I think they're like mini shards.
Yeah, pretty much.
Extend. I think that's what they were going for. I could be wrong, but they're like, since like if the blade's like this long and his arm's only that long.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. So it kind of made sense just to make him as like small little shards that go in.
Small shards all stuck out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it's your own interpretation.
Mm.
You know, we've already had different interpretations, like was it Mortal Kombat Rebirth, where
Yeah.
it was a doctor that
Mm.
went
Oh,
silly
yeah.
and
Yeah.
then stuck metal onto his bones. It was
Yeah. That
weird.
was like a really grounded, sort of realistic way take on the whole thing, wasn't it? It was like a
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine if they did that as a film today, but not call it Mortal Kombat, call it something else?
yeah.
I don't know, and I reckon it could still be some sort of homage to Mortal Kombat, but not Mortal Kombat. If they was to change the names
Mm.
of the characters, you'd know that the inspiration has come from them characters, but it's a totally different film. I reckon it would work. I'd watch
Yeah.
it
Oh, yeah.
because
Oh, for
fans would
sure.
be like, the fans would be like, oh, it's they know where it's come from,
Yeah.
but to see it as something different, I reckon it'd do quite well. But
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
uh,
Yeah.
right,
Oh,
let's move on to the next one. Reptile.
reptile.
This is your
Um,
interpretation of reptile. So it seems more clean.
yeah, it does. I didn't want to go for the lizard look. I wanted to go for the green ninja.
Yeah, everyone's liking the green ninja look. They miss the green ninja.
Yeah, so I thought, just because it's just me being old fashioned, so I thought, oh, but bollocks, I'll do them that way. But on the full painting, I have done the reptilian head as well.
Ah,
And that's, you probably perhaps you can't see it in this picture because it's obviously quite small. But if you zoom in, you can see there's sort of remnant. Yeah, it's not like just a bloke behind the mask. It is actually the reptile in that sense.
I actually come up with a cool idea, like especially if they're going to if they're going to have Reptile in the sequel film, and they were going to bring him back,
Mm.
and they, because everyone wants him to look like the ninja style.
Mm.
If what they could do is say that this version of the reptile race can manipulate bones and bone structure, and to fit in more with humans, instead of just going invisible, it could be invisible in plain sight by altering bones, and it could manipulate his bones to fit the human form.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah. Oh,
A
yeah.
bit like Blade Trinity, where Drake
Yeah.
can change his facial bone,
Mm.
something like that, where
Oh,
a
yeah.
reptile can bring his snout in and manipulate his bone structure.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I reckon that fixed the issue of people going, oh, but he's just a reptile. Now, for him to fit in more with the human race,
Mm.
he can manipulate his bones to fit the sort of bone structure and fit in plain. He's invisible in plain sight.
Oh, yeah.
There
Yeah.
we go. So if Todd Gardner was watching, they could use that. Tamok has just come in. Thanks, Tamok, for coming in earlier and trying to sort the problem out. But again, he's had to reschedule. The problem is on his side. He is using a Apple Mac, and he says that he knows that the problem's on his side, so we have to reschedule. So I'm really frustrated. I'm hungry. I've not eaten. Don't get on my bad side. I might snap. But we're just going through Chris's paintings at the minute, but it's an open stream. So it's up to you if you want to jump in and talk about whatever the hell you want to talk about. You've got the link, so you
Jump
can
in.
pop in anytime
Have
you
fun.
want. Yeah, so you can pop in anytime you want. So Reptile's really cool, and the red is the contrast with Reptile as well. It's
Yeah.
really good.
That's a deliberate clash of colours, but I kind of like the combo between the green and the red. So
Because Reptile isn't really a ninja,
no.
really.
No.
So why would he want to be a ninja? So I like how the red makes him stand out as well, because I do like the way it works. So we'll move on to your fourth one here, and that's your version of Jade.
Jade, yeah.
It's too bad you couldn't put up the individual photos. We might have to do another stream on your individual photos, so you can zoom in, so people can see the details. But this version of Jade is more from what I can see here, it's less green, more grey.
Yeah,
So I just want to pick your bones on why you went this route.
it's really just it's really just it's kind of like in the moment when I'm painting, I have an idea of how I'm going to do it in terms of colours and that, but I don't. I think in this case, at the time when I was painting it, it felt more natural to go with sort of greys and blacks and things, but then it had hints of green, enough green that you know it's jade based on the weapon and everything. And obviously, I gave her a dagger and made her look more tactical than as if she's basically so that she could go out into the wild basically and take people out. Um,
So she's using that sort of dark aesthetic
that
to
sort of, yeah,
blend in with the dark
assassin,
tone
yeah,
of where she is.
yeah,
So again, it's like more ninja style.
yeah. It doesn't have to be. I mean, she could, you know, she could go without the mask. I guess there's no reason why I
Oh
could have
yeah,
another version of her without the mask.
yeah. I mean, she wants to try and
There's
hide her identity from her
yeah.
attackers. I suppose she wants to cover up.
Mm,
Hang on, Tamas just said, sounds like you kind of like to make it up as you go along. Very cool. Improvisation. Yeah, so he's on about your
oh, right.
painting, you improvise on the
Yeah,
fly.
I do. I pretty much freestyle for the most part. Um, I have an idea. I normally have a pretty I normally sort of think about it before I do it, and I'll sometimes do. Yeah, most of the time I'll do some sketches, but as I'm painting it, that's really where the whole thing starts to take shape. And from that point onwards, I start pretty much freestyling any kind of fine details and things in as I go along. It's just my workflow really.
I mean, I wish I could draw like that. I mean, I can draw, but not to this extent. This is the shading is really good. The minute details as well. I mean, I've been on your streams live when you were doing like the likes of Baraka and Reptile, and
Mm.
you're zooming right in just to get that little tiny bit of detail. I'm like, do you really need to do that? And you're like, yeah.
Yeah, that's
The
yeah.
devil's in the detail,
It,
as they say.
it's just me being picky.
Yeah.
But that's like being artists for you. That's what artists are like. We tend to get very picky. Yeah,
Should we let the people know on the little projects that we wanted to do? I
yeah,
gave you the idea, and you wanted to say if you could do it. I don't know if you want to talk about it.
yeah. Go for it. Fire away.
All right, okay. Striker is now not the most hated Mortal Kombat character in the franchise. It's now been taken over by Cole Young, right? So, me being the type of person that wants to find solutions on how to make the characters better, I come up with a little storyline, and then I collaborated with Chris here on his using his art to bring out the idea that I have. So the idea that I have is for him to do his interpretation of Cole Young, but using my idea. And I don't know when you want to start that, but I mean, again, it's up to you. It's one of your, it's on your clock. So I'm not going to force you to do it, but it's nice to know that you actually wanted to do something like this.
It's happening.
It's happening. It's my mission to get the haters of Cole Young to at least tolerate the character by adding more backstory or foreshadowing a story. Someone says Suhao. No, I think Suhao's a bit more forgiving because he was just plumped in. There's hardly any backstory with him. He was just plumped in. I think Striker, because he's got no powers at all, Suhao kind of has something about him. He's being powered up by a device, so there's something about him. Whereas Striker's just the riot cop. But yeah, again, Cole Young has kind of taken that number one spot. It's not the movie's fault. I don't really want to fully blame the writers. the studio involvement forced the writers to shoehorn him in, unfortunately, and that probably had
It's a
to.
mechanism for people that aren't familiar with the whole shebang.
Yeah,
So
I'd like, you know what, I'd like to know why they wanted to plonk him in. I want to know the reason on their behalf.
I guess it was like a fail-safe to make it approachable for people, because obviously not
Well,
everyone's.
they say that, but Johnny Cage, the character Johnny Cage, is that person.
Yeah,
And Louis Tan could have played Johnny Cage 100%. You could have played him.
it was a studio. I think the scenario is they're funding the film, and I think the men in suits. I'm not going to assume what they do or don't know, but there's a good chance they probably aren't familiar with the nuts and bolts of the whole thing. And they said, "Well, if you want the cash, this is what's going to happen."
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm just guessing here. I don't.
Yeah, I don't see a reason, but we have to work with what we've got. So when it comes to the Cole Young character, there's so many ways you can expand on the character now. And
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to do.
Mm.
So it's my mission to try and get people to at least tolerate the character, because I see potential, I see it. But then anyway, Ryu Kang wants to come in, so I'm now gonna go on your. I'm gonna try and get you in a. I'm gonna try and give you the link. So let me find you. Let me find you. Hang on. Right, I'm gonna have to do it this way. There you are. I'm gonna send you the link now in direct message. There you go. All you gotta do is say yes to the mic, yes to the camera, put your name down, then pop in, and you're in. So there you go. Right, Lou can't make it. Girlfriend's asleep. Okay, that's fine. Sorry that it was too bleeding late. These things happen. I'm gonna have to do more streams like this, more random streams. And just talking. Oh, here he is. Right. Okay. Right. He's in. Hello, Mr. Kang.
Hello.
Hello. How's it going?
I am going well, actually.
Oh, okay. Right. Hang on, because I might need to up your volume. Mic settings. Right. I've put you up higher.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. That's better.
Yep, clear.
Okay. Right. Well, this is our first time talking. So yeah, I'm just stressed because this thing with Mink, he's a busy guy, so we had to reschedule and then reschedule again and reschedule again, and I understand that he's busy, and then when it comes right down to it, there's technical issues. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I totally get it. It was on his side, and what can you do? I mean, he's gonna reschedule. I'm still looking forward to the interview and conversation.
I've got to give him kudos, because he's a guy that's in demand, and he wanted to take time out to a person that's a nobody. I class myself as a nobody. And he wanted to do this, so he got his assistant to email me and talk to me and go do the tests and everything else. And I could have done a stream with her, and because she was very talkative, she's got loads of stories that she talked about between her and Mink, how they got together and everything else. It's just a shame. But yeah, it's one of them things. All day today I've been waiting to go home from work, and I'm like, I'll leave 2 hours early, and then it first got wrong that I couldn't leave early because I had something on the machine. I'm like, oh no. And then the bus trip back, it was a 3-hour bus trip. I'm like, what the hell? Traffic everywhere. I thought, right, it's going to come in threes. And it come in threes. Oh,
and I think it doesn't help that you had nothing to eat. You said you were hungry.
I'm very hungry.
Yeah, I know. I can relate. because
Yeah, I can. So I can toast while you was struggling.
Yeah.
Oh, stressing out. But I thought, right, instead of just killing the stream, and then telling everyone sorry through Twitter, I thought, right, okay, redo everything, and then just do the stream as normal, but do it like this instead. And then just the only thing I could do is apologise. I can't do anything else. Again, Chris is a witness, Tamak is a witness, because them two tried to help me as well as Mink. So I thank them for that, and they're proof that he was going to be here. It's a shame that it just didn't pan out this time, but we'll see. It could be the fact that Apple Mac doesn't work well with StreamYard. I don't know if that's the thing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to ask them.
Well, I own a MacBook, and StreamYard is working fine in my end, so
Yeah.
But I think what he tried to do was open up a share thing, he tried to share something, like a new screen, and tried to run a system through that screen, but there was no volume.
Oh.
He wanted to use a different mic, a better mic apparently,
better mic.
and it wasn't coming through. So, I tried to get Tamak to open up, basically do a test, and I could hear that, but I don't know. I reckon Tamak, because I know you're still here. Do like your Skype. Do a Skype to anyone, and then try to share that, and then just run that through StreamYard. You might want to try and do that just to see if it works. If not, then I don't think StreamYard does that. It could just be as simple as that. I think that's the only way, to get it nailed and see where the problem is. So I think we'll do a tester one day, and then you set up your Skype or whatever third-party thing, screen share that through StreamYard, and then try to run mic through that. I think that's the only way to do it. Why didn't you think about that before? Why?
I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you one thing for sure. I definitely would like to see Tabmock in the stream if it's possible as well. Because
he's got the link. He can come in anytime he wants.
Yeah.
And then, like I say, we just talk about anything and everything.
Anything and everything. Yeah.
Anything and everything. But yeah, we Chris has been here since the beginning of the mishap. So I thought I'll do a stream on his.
And I'm looking at it, looking at his artwork. It's some great stuff. I commented on the reptile mask. How it looks like the '95 movie mask in a way, with the fangs in the mouth.
Yeah.
Mm. You can spit his ass.
Some feedback for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind doing streams, helping promote other people as well. I mean, I know, I'm a nobody, but it just helps either way. I don't mind.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do more streams like this, where it's just free, open. Anyone can come and talk about whatever they want.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. I thought of doing the same thing myself, whether it be on Twitter or Facebook, StreamYard, YouTube.
Yeah.
Something to do. If anyone's bored, just want to talk and try to be good boys online while it's live.
Try.
I really want to swear. Oh, I want to say the F word. I want to say the B word.
You can swear. You can swear as much as you want, as long as you don't really use it against anyone. Really,
Oh no, yeah, I know what you mean. Don't call anyone names.
Yeah.
But it helps having a child that you try not to, have him pick up swear words while he's growing up. So it's like, fumbles.
Yeah.
You replace words, which is really funny.
Yeah.
But was there anything that you wanted to talk about, Royu? I don't know your real name. I don't know if you want to give out your real name, but I'll just call you Royu.
Well, my real name is Gabriel, but I call myself Gabo or Ryu, actually.
What about Gabs?
But
Gotta keep it fresh.
yeah, but I like to go by Ryu most of the time. So
Yeah.
you know,
You're going through a bit of an identity crisis. I understand.
yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
Tamak says he's going to come on in 5 to 7 minutes. So
Oh, that's great.
I think we've got time for you to, if you've got anything you want to talk about, any questions that you want to get out regarding the games or the movies.
Yeah, I've pretty much been massive Mortal Kombat fan since I was about maybe 2 or 3 years old. Crazy, I know, but you know. It's cool that Chris does fan art of Mortal Kombat. I can't even draw that good, and I draw my take on the characters a lot. You know.
Yeah.
You enjoy it.
I've seen
Yeah.
some of your sketches. You've put them on DeviantArt, and they
Yeah.
do come up because obviously I follow you on there.
Yeah.
I don't know if Chris knows about that. Do you know?
I used to be there ages ago, years ago. I went on DeviantArt.
There you go.
I used to be addicted to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, all my edits are on there, basically. I went through a phase of like WWE stuff, especially with the games, and doing covers. Yeah, every time I do a cover for a WWE game, I'd stick it on there. It doesn't matter how crap it was, I'd just stick it on there.
Yeah. And I saw that, you know, Dave, you used to do a fan wallpaper for Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter, you know.
Yeah.
You
I've
know,
done things like that.
Yeah.
Killer Instinct as well. Mortal Kombat versus Killer Instinct.
Mortal Kombat versus Killer Instinct.
Yeah, I did like a title edit of that as well. That would be if they're going to do a crossover, I reckon that suits more.
Yes,
than
it
likes
does.
of Tekken or King of Fighters or Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Well, Killer Instinct.
More Kombat Killer Instinct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat and Killer Instinct. Because,
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if Rare is struggling at the minute. I don't know. Maybe they could pull a whisper in to Ed Boon and say, do you want to? I know you like getting guest characters, but we've got a whole roster here of Killer Instinct fighters that you could, pick and choose from.
At least one of them for the Xbox version. You know. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't had the Xbox version. Oh, I have. I've downloaded it before, and I just get murdered to the point where it's like, I don't know what I'm pressing. It's like as soon as the match starts, I'm done. I'm finished. So I reverted back to the original, the original SNES version.
Yeah.
The only ultra move I know on that is from Orchid. That's the only one I know. But yeah, there you go. It'd be nice to see some Killer Instinct characters getting on the Mortal Kombat scene.
Oh, absolutely. And especially because they share a similar aesthetic and style in a way. They have the ultra finisher.
Violent. I think it's a bit more violent, and you got the likes of like Saberwolf and Fulgor. They're
obviously character. Obviously,
Cinder's pretty easy to pull up. Oh, yeah, that on the game, I suppose.
And obviously,
back, go a few seconds then forward, and it's all about the game.
Obviously, you have characters in Killer Instinct that are kind of similar to the characters in Mortal Kombat, and it was like Jago is very similar to Liu Kang, and Glacius is similar to Sub-Zero.
Yeah,
I say that in the sense that Jago and Liu Kang are monks.
Yeah, they're not full on monks. They just follow some of the non-traditional teachings. They're not peaceful, kind of.
No, of course not.
They're bred for battle.
Of course not. They're not the traditional monks with the shaved heads.
They're bred for battle. That's their thing. But I'm a definite big fan of Jago. Like I said, I like the way he looks, the way he moves, and the way he kicks as well. It's like when I'm doing my own martial arts, I like to be a bit exhibition-y. I like to be a bit more flashy, and that's how I see Jago. He's more flashy, like Van Damme. I reckon he's more aesthetic to a Van Damme character.
Yeah.
That's how I see him anyway.
It's funny because Jago got a kick that's almost like a Van Damme kick where he
that's the main thing, isn't it? It's like the helicopter kick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can see there's a bit of an influence there. Oh, but was there anything about the movie, the 2021 movie that you wanted to go over?
Well, you know, the 2021 film, you know, I liked it all right. You know, hold on one moment.
Oh,
So yeah, going back to the sorry about that. The 2021 Mortal Kombat movie, I liked it all right. You know, it had problems that I hope get fixed. You know, that they could have been done better. It could have been worse as well, but you know, I do,
was there anything
you know,
that
believe.
stood out? Was there anything that stood out as in I don't really like that much? Was there anything that stood out?
Well, one thing that really stood out to me was a lot of the editing in the film. I felt the editing
Oh,
was
the
kind of
quick
choppy,
cuts.
the quick cuts, and also the pacing was a little. It dragged in the second act, and then it just whooshed by in Act 3. You know.
Yeah, it's I think I don't want to knock on him, but Louis Tan. I don't know if it was the way he was directed, but when it come to where they're at the ranch, his ranch, and he's sitting down after he just drove back, leaving Jax by himself. Um, he's sitting down and he's just put his daughter to bed, which is weird. And he's just sitting down and he's almost too calm. I'd be pacing. If I knew that there was supernatural beings wanting to kill me, I'd be pacing. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be so.
It's not your standard response, is it?
Yeah, it's like, see, man, as if it's like a normal problem. It's like, it's okay,
Yeah.
we'll get this sorted. It's like, you know, I've got to go out and, you know, sort this thing out. And
Yeah.
I mean, again, that for me wasn't that big of a problem. I normally wanted to go over story and, you know, things that continuity errors and things like that. That's more my deal. But again, in a sequel, all the little issues can be fixed. They can be addressed. Which is, I don't know if you've been watching my streams, but over all the issues that people are having, I've kind of gone over. That if you know they can be fixed, you know, and then it kind of makes people forgive the first movie just that little bit more.
Yeah.
But we've got Tamok in now, so I'm going to bring him in. Hadoom!
Hey, how do you do?
Hello, Justin Tabmock, whatever.
How is everybody?
I am doing well. I'm doing
Good.
well.
Hi, everybody.
Good. Yeah, watching you on the stream, I was just thinking about how Ryukang does all those Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter amalgamations. That was a thing.
Oh yeah, that was a thing for a while, and it was kind of put on the shelf for a while, but I'll get back to it, you know, eventually.
Put it on the back burner, did you?
Yeah, because I was doing all this stuff, you know. I was working on my take on the Mortal Kombat franchise as well, you know, and you know, like I studied. You kind of helped me with this. I studied the lore a lot thanks to Tabmock and a few other sources, and you know, being a fan of the franchise, you know, and I was very.
He's my source on Twitter. If I've got like something, I'll be like, I want to. What is it? I want to. What do I say? What is it? I normally say at the top before I put my question. I put something like, I want to consult with you or something, something like that. And it's like, before I do something, I'm gonna have to ask someone in the know. So I'm like, I'll ask Tamok. He'll know.
Yeah, you guys can always run anything by me.
Almost instantly, cool. There's a reply with articles and everything. I'm like, flipping out, he knows where everything is. You know, it's like, I know that. Bang, bang, bang. He's like a human matrix from Mortal Kombat.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, you know, I got to refer back to that stuff so often. It's like, oh yeah, I can find that magazine, I can find that book, I can find that quote from the developer on their social media. Yeah, I can pull that stuff up, no problem.
It's like he knows on his computer's got like thousands of files within files, and he's like, yeah, I know where that is. Bang, 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 bang. There it is. Straight away, and it's almost instant. I'm like, flipping out. I thought I had to wait to the end of the day. It's like 5 minutes, if that. And he's like, yeah, I'll bring that up. Yeah, but yeah, sometimes if I've got like an idea and I'm like, I'm not sure on something, I'll go to Tamok and ask him, can you help me with this? You know, this, that, and the other, and you know, he helps. So there you
I
go.
have a
You
question.
definitely good for something.
Is Motaro's tail, is it robotic or is it a normal tail with plated armor on it?
Reptile's
Is that
tail.
Well, he's on about Motaro.
Yeah,
Motaro, I think it's not like a horse's tail. I think it's like a long spiked tail, and
Right.
it's just got that metal over the top.
right. That's what I was thinking.
It is metal. Yeah, he has a metal tail, and you could see it in the John Tobias drawing. You could see it in the Patrick Rollo art that he did for EGM.
Yeah.
You can really get a good look at it if you see
Right.
some behind-the-scenes pictures of the Motaro sculpture that they built for Mortal Kombat 3, or even like the Storm Collectibles one.
So it's a proper metal tail he's got. Is that what you're saying?
Well, basically, say he hasn't got any armor or anything on.
No.
His tail, just like a devil's tail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like a devil's tail. You know, like
Yeah.
the devil's tail.
Now, am I allowed to share pictures on this thing?
Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to take your one down, Chris.
If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken,
Yeah.
going back to Motaro, if I'm not mistaken, he was originally going to be the one with the hammers, but they gave them to Shao Kahn.
Ah, I didn't know that. I don't need Tam. I can verify that. Was Motaro originally going to be the one with the hammer instead of Shao Kahn?
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I heard it from
It's news!
I heard it from MK Secrets when they did their history of Mortal Kombat. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah. Well, they're pretty reliable. So if they said that, then yeah.
That's interesting. Motaro with the hammer.
Hard to imagine anybody else with it now that we've seen it with
Yeah.
Shao Kahn. You know?
Yeah.
Shao Kahn with the hammer.
Yeah.
That's a bit strange, though. I mean, Shao Kahn, did he have his hammer in the second game?
No, he didn't.
Mortal Kombat 2?
No, he did not.
No, did he?
No.
No, the hammer was a
Okay.
new addition for MK3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah. So, yeah. Okay, then. It must be true, then. It was on the internet. It must be true.
No, MK Secrets is good. If they said it, then yeah, you're in good shape.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now, Dave was asking me about the Mortal Kombat 2021 live action movie, and he was asking what my general thoughts on the film and what were the bad qualities that stood out.
Oh yeah, I saw it. I was here. I was watching. I remember you said how it was kind of.
Because I like to discuss how to solve them. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if anyone's got like issues, I can, say if Todd Garner was to come in and say, right, we know the issues. How would you fix them? And then that's why I've done my live streams, because I'd just go over and say, right, these can be fixed if they're addressed. So, we'll have to see what they do in the sequel. Hopefully they'll address something.
Yeah.
But
Right.
was there anything else?
Well, let me see if I can share this thing with Motaro so that everybody can sort of get a good look at him.
Yeah.
I'm going through this thing right now. So if I hit share as a guest user, you can upload.
Has it got its mic on? Ah, he's just gone. This happened before.
Yeah.
He's done the same thing again. He's done it again.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So
Dude,
he's been on two of my streams, and both times he's took himself out.
Oh man.
I'm just gonna share this. So before he comes back on, I'm gonna get through this quick. Like everyone hates Cole Young and they say, "Oh, I want him to die. He shouldn't be in the next one."
Yeah.
What they did with Johnny Cage in Annihilation.
Yeah.
My plan is to, because they're not going to get rid of him because he's a studio plant. So my idea is to have like a subplot and have him in the subplot. So you got Liu Kang in the tournament and Cole Young in the subplot, and they're both equally as important. That's how I keep him relevant.
Well, as long as it's not like Battle of the Realms where the focus just
Oh
divides.
no, it won't be. I've got it all planned out. It's all
Oh,
planned.
cool. Yeah. Hey, Tabmock, you came back. What just happened?
It was making me register, so I
Oh,
registered.
okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Right, it's come up. So if I add this to the screen, boom. Hang on. If I
Yeah. Motaro grabbing Scorpion by his skull.
Yeah.
so
One of the Storm collectibles things I was telling you about.
Yeah.
So basically, the tail is an add-on, isn't it? It's like Jack's putting his metal arms over his real arms. Yeah.
Yeah, but this looks like more organic, kind of like Baraka. You know that.
I don't
Yeah.
know because you can still see the metal going underneath him, and then it's attached to his waist.
You know, I never questioned this kind of stuff, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
I always assumed he was born with that metal, like Baraka
Yeah.
is with his metal blades.
Yeah.
I never saw it that way.
No.
I thought because it's metal and the rest of him is all organic.
Yeah, it's organic
There was
metal.
nothing else indicating that it was just a metal. You know, because otherwise, if that's metal, what has he got a metal bone structure to hold that together?
He may.
Possibly, yeah.
He might have
I
a
just
little
think
bit.
it's a weapon because we see. I mean, if you want to look any deeper, you go into Defenders of the Realm,
Yes.
where in the later stages you see the rest of his race, and they're firing. They're like whipping their tails, and it's their real tails. You know, the rest of the centaurs.
Yeah.
And they never had metal. They were just their original tails that they'd whip, and then they'd fire projectiles from their tails.
Well, I'm
But
not
with
sure.
Motoro, he's the only one of his centaur race.
So it's
that's got that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I would use Defenders of the Realm to try to figure out how the MK3 cannon works.
Right. Not at all.
I just think it's better as if it's a weapon itself. It's an attachable, detachable. It just makes him more. I think if it's organic, I don't like it. If it's just organic metal.
I think it is like Baraka's metal was always shown to be organic. I mean, until
That's
MK11,
not metal, though,
then
is
who
it?
knows?
It's more bone. It's been shown to be more bone than metal.
I don't know
Now.
now, but I always kind of saw Baraka's blades as very metal looking, even though they come from
I think they did that just for aesthetic.
aesthetic.
For
Yeah.
the game, just
Yeah.
to make it stand out more. But obviously, as the games have gone on, his teeth are not metal anymore; they're bone, and you just got to assume that it's bone coming from his arms as well.
Here's
But,
something
I
that
think
you can go
Motoro
by.
has got this as just to further advance himself.
Well, here's something I think you can go by. It's not Defenders of the Realm. It's MK3.
Okay. If you want to take off your other one. Oh,
There we go.
There we
Look,
go.
there's a bunch of other centaurs here.
Yes.
Yeah.
They all have the same kind of, and they all have the same kind of tail too. If you really look closely to
It's hard to make out detail, and you can tell what they did was they just took the one Motaro statue, and then
Yeah.
they sort of enhanced it digitally afterwards.
Yeah.
So they didn't actually build all these different centaurs.
Yeah, but then if you look at some of them, they've actually got extra armor on. I think it's just part of their weaponry, just to make them more dangerous. Instead of swords and hammers, and you got the one with the spear, you got one with an axe, and you got one with a spiked board.
Yeah.
But with Motoro, he's dangerous with his tail. I just think it's extra weaponry.
And I'm still going to go with they were born with it.
Right. Who do we need to consult?
The only one
we need to consult with Raiden to consult with the Elder Gods. That's what we need.
No, the only one who could say what their intention was with this is John Tobias.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's always bad.
You could do that.
He was the character designer. He built them. He's the one who imagined it. It's his brainchild. If anyone can answer definitively, are they wearing armor, or are these organic things that are just part of who they are? He's the guy.
Yeah, because John's bias. He's the creator of the lore.
I'll be right back. Okay. Cool. Who was
Yeah,
that?
John. That was my mom.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was actually you running away. But
Nah.
I'm gonna stick with mine, and if I'm wrong, I don't care. I'm sticking with my thing.
Yeah, we all have our own
That's
unique
it.
takes on the lore. You know.
Anytime there's an ambiguity like that, people are going to get different ideas.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing with Sonya Blade, isn't it? Is it natural a natural ability, firing the rings, or is it technology? There's a big thing over that as well.
Well, it can
Whereas
it can go it
early
can
in the
really
games-
go either. It can really
Early
go
in the
either way.
games, people
Yeah.
thought it was her abilities, and then later in the games, like Mortal Kombat 9, it comes from a device.
Well,
People
that's
really
why
do-
that's one of the reasons why I kind of made up this whole multiverse of Mortal Kombat, because it can work in different ways. You know, it can
I
work
can
both
actually
ways.
merge the two. I can merge
Yeah.
the two. The device on her wrist actually make the ability come out more and
Yeah.
easier.
Right.
That's how
Yeah,
I
I did a
background.
live stream. I did a live stream on that, and that was sort of how it was concluded. And then we kind of compared it to Cyclops from X-Men,
Yes.
where he has that ability naturally to fire freaking laser beams from his eyes.
Yes.
But
Optic? No, it's not laser. No, let's get it right. It's an optic
Optic.
blast.
whatever you want to, yeah, I know.
And it's actually
But that's not the point. The point was he can do it organically, and that the visor helps him kind of focus it.
Yeah.
So that could be the thing to what's happening here with Motaro. Is he's got the ability in his tail, natural tail, all the rest of the centaurs do, but it could just be he's just enhanced it with this add-on.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's an enhancement.
Yeah, in my mind at least, that's how it.
I still class it as a weapon because he still batters people with it.
Yeah.
So, and it also acts as an enhancement to his abilities. I can't see how something like a centaur can be born with a mini metal tail and the metal grows. I don't know. It's serious for me to get my head around.
Yeah.
But as a warrior race and wanting to look more menacing, I can see Motaro and the centaurs actually adding to their arsenal, but with themselves instead of just weapons that they can use with their hands. Why not utilize their whole body? And Motaro used his tail. That's how I would go about it anyway.
Well, let's ask John Tobias and see what he says. I'll ask him right now.
Yeah, on
You do it
Twitter.
right now, right this second.
Yeah, I know I did. I just tweeted it.
Good. Right, right, hang on. Right, let's see where you are. See if you've popped up. I'll try and retweet that.
I'll put it in the chat.
All right.
Splendid.
Oh, here we go. Right, so yeah, liked. I'm gonna quote tweet it.
Oh shoot!
We need answers. That's what I put. We need answers. There we go.
Yeah, what do you think? Will we get an answer?
I don't know.
Well, I didn't think he'd answer me about the Shang Tsung thing with the invitations, and he
was great.
popped up with a 10 tweet thread. I think you just got to copy him on a good day.
Yeah, he was really active for a while in answering questions on Twitter. It was great. He sort of slowed down with that. He still does stuff on Twitter, but he doesn't really seem to answer Mortal Kombat fan questions as much. But he was going there for a while,
Yeah, he was, yeah.
But I don't think anybody could really do that 24/7. It would be exhausting. So I really don't blame him.
It absolutely would.
He's probably busy as well.
Yeah, it was a magical period of time, but he doesn't just live his life just to answer obscure Mortal Kombat questions from us,
Right, yeah.
It's a shame. Right, is there anything else that anyone wants to talk to so we can round off the hour?
I'm
So we got
pretty
about 5 minutes.
Yeah, who do you think? should play Shao Kahn in the next movie? Because I saw people talking about The Rock. What are some of your thoughts on that?
I don't want Batista either, even though I could see him more than The Rock.
I think they should just go with someone who is lesser known.
Big.
To be
I
honest,
reckon just go with someone big. If they want to use prosthetics, use prosthetics, and then use a bit of CGI here and there if there's any needed. But I think they should go with someone physical, because when it comes to the interactions with CGI, you don't feel it.
right?
If it's something real, you know that they're interacting. There's some proper interaction there. I went with a bodybuilder called Aaron Reed for a while. Before the movie was announced, I actually went with Nathan Jones to begin with. Because
Yes.
at the time, he was a bigger name. And
Right.
he had the size, he had the voice, the presence. And then when I heard that they were bringing him into the film, and there was nothing confirmed of who he was playing, I thought, that's Shao Kahn. Everyone thought that was Shao Kahn. And then he ended up playing Rico, and everyone was disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I kind of changed it to Aaron Reed, because he's a big dude. He's wanting to get into the acting scene anyway, so he's got that foot in the door. And I thought, okay, someone like that could probably prosper from something like that. And then
I'll be honest,
there's a few
Shao
others.
Kahn is supposed to be a big dude.
Yeah,
Reiko was supposed to be kind of a little dude. In fact, the original intent was that Shao Kahn was now, resurrected, but in a smaller, weaker form, and he's kind of going undercover. Nobody knows it's really him.
Yes.
John
John Tobias originally envisioned Mortal Kombat 5 as being focused on Liu Kang and Kitana's son,
Yes.
but that never happened.
Well, that's true.
Have you heard of a big dude called Martin Ford?
But I guess my point was to have a big guy like Reiko in the first Mortal Kombat movie. That means that for Shao Kahn, he's going to have to be way big, in comparison to Reiko.
Yeah, and he's going to need to not just stand there and look menacing. He needs to exert it as well. He needs to feel it, that he's imposing. So there's an actor. I'm going to call him an actor, and he's not a bodybuilder, but he's a big dude. Martin Ford.
Yes,
if you've ever heard of him.
from Undisputed 4.
Yes. He's getting a lot of parts lately, and he's getting well known. He's doing a fight. I don't know if it's an MMA fight, but he's doing a proper fight with the Iranian Hulk.
Yeah.
And they're both big dudes, but Martin Ford's coming into his own now, and he's getting bigger and bigger roles. He looks menacing even when he's training. He's so aggressive. And I'm thinking that's what Shao Kahn kind of needs to be. He needs to not just stand there and look aggressive. He needs to exert aggression through the way he moves. And Martin Ford could do that, but it depends how they want to portray Shao Kahn. I mean, Martin Ford, he's covered in tattoos all over.
Yeah.
So they probably have to paint him up. So I don't see that as a problem, but I reckon if they're going to pick someone, Martin Ford could be the guy. Now, I don't know if any of you guys, Chris and Tamak, know of him. Probably need to look him up just to see him. Tamak's probably doing that right now.
Probably am.
Right now. But yeah, big and bald. Big and bald, aggressive, looks aggressive, trains aggressive, because he's always on Instagram training. He puts 110% into everything he does. And I'm thinking he could fill that role. If you want someone big, who's able, because he can do his own stunts and his own fighting. So, everything seems to be in his favour. So there we go. Martin Ford, I'm going to put him forward.
Okay.
And it's Martin with a Y.
Yes.
Martin with a Y. Yeah. Sorry.
And I can see why you like him. I smell the blood of an Englishman.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. But yeah, you should look into him. Look at some of his training videos or some of that. Yeah, his fight scene in Undisputed 4. He's at the very beginning and he's at the end, and you'll see that he's a big dude, big scary dude. All he needs to do is be a bit less jumpy,
Oh, no,
a bit
about
more methodical.
it's just click, Dave. It's when he thinks he's beat the champion, but he's like, no, you still got to beat the champion. And it's that very, yeah. Massive.
Oh yeah, because you've only just recently watched it, haven't you?
Yeah.
I've actually forced Chris to watch the Undisputed series.
Yeah.
We're trying to get the idea on what type of fight scenes they should, the aesthetic of the fight scenes they should do in the sequel. And says, look at Undisputed films, and he watched them. And he kind of likes the fight scenes. They're very good.
I also know I've seen Martin in Kingsman, so I do recognize him from that.
Yeah, there you go. So, what's your take on him playing Shao Kahn?
He'd be good. I don't think he should do Shao Kahn with an English accent, though. I'm just putting that
out.
Oh,
well.
Of course not.
With an American accent?
Dave, can you do me a favor? Let's just see what it sounds like. Can you do a line from Shao Kahn in a British accent? Something like, you weak, pathetic fool, or I rule this world? Let's see how it sounds.
You weak, pathetic fool! I've come for your souls! You suck!
There's the British Shao Kahn, everybody.
Yeah, there's the British Shao.
I don't know how that come across. I really don't know.
No, I think they could do a fine job. They always have those accent coaches so that they can make Australian actors sound American. They can do a good job with it.
Or they could just do what they did with Cabal. Just have a voiceover.
Yeah. Voiceover, yeah.
They did that with Darth Vader, too.
Yes.
That's all they do with lip syncing. I mean, how cool would it be?
Just make a jaw move in this one.
Say again, sorry.
Get Steve Ritchie to do the voice.
The original guy?
Yeah.
Yes. That's what they could do, 100%.
Just imagine, no matter what Shao Kahn says, it sounds like the game.
The Shao Kahn, yeah.
Yes.
You weak, pathetic fool.
Yeah.
Oh, too easy.
You still trying to win?
Those two lines that Tabmox says, I'll never forget. The intro in the Super Nintendo port of MK2 when you press the shoulder buttons. Those are the two lines he says, and then Kentaro smashes the acclaim logo.
That's right. In that exact order.
Yeah.
There we go. See, we're fixing the movie franchise as we go along.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, they need
any
to do
ideas?
something. They need to pull the fans back in. They need to do something.
We're fixing the movie ideas, and if all goes wrong, forget it. I'm gonna write my own take on the franchise as much as I want.
Right, I just think if they mess up this time, we're going to be waiting another 20 years for another reboot.
Unfortunately, yeah.
That'll be the end. I mean, you look back at the Tekken film. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't Tekken.
It wasn't Tekken, no.
But it wasn't bad.
It was the Iron Fist tournament.
The worst ever game adaptation of a fighting film was King of Fighters.
The King of Fighters, yeah. That
I
was
fell asleep during that one, dude.
It wasn't King of Fighters in any way, shape, or form. Why? Who signed off on it? It was so bad.
It was awful, yeah.
There was no. What? It's like you could change the name of the title, change the name of some of the characters, and it'd be a totally different film.
Yes.
And it'd probably work better. But I didn't like the fact that they wore this earpiece, and then they're zoomed into like a digital world for a split second, and they come back to the real world as if nothing had happened. And it was like if you die in that world, you die in real life. So
It's
they
the
tried
Matrix
to
rules.
incorporate Matrix into it. I'm like, that's not King of Fighters.
No, not at all.
And,
No, there's no need for all that.
So people can rag on Mortal Kombat Annihilation all they like, and I will defend that film till I die. I don't care what you say.
It's all good.
When
Will
people
you
say,
defend Defenders of the Realm?
Defenders of the Realm.
That's a cartoon. You can get away with cartoons.
You can get away with
Okay,
cartoons.
one last one. Will you defend Federation of Martial Arts?
I saw that as just a quick money spinner because they were doing online bets and things like that, weren't they? Like some sort of like currency back
Like
then.
a stock ticker. Yep.
It was, very poor. I didn't start as anything that I could waste my time on. I just didn't bother. But when it comes to more Kombat Annihilation, when people say now, oh, they did the characters dirty, it's like they made that back in a time where nothing back then was as established as it is now.
Yeah.
So the likes of Rain, the likes of Ermac, the likes of Noob Saibot. Yeah, okay, they got killed pretty easy, but they weren't established characters. They were just inserts back at the time in the games.
Well, I will say this. That is true for some characters, but like Melina had a really deep story.
Yes.
Smoke had a really deep story.
And
they had a chance. Look, Defenders of the Realm did a better job exploring Smoke's story and his friendship with Sub-Zero and all that.
I mean, you can.
Yeah,
It's easy to expand when you've got a series.
But even then, Annihilation with Smoke, they pretty much gave him Sector's abilities and probably his his character too.
Instead
of Smoke, that should have been Sector there. It would have made more sense.
It was Sector, wasn't it? It was Sector. It was meant to be Sector.
Yeah, I think
in the scripts, that's how it was meant to be.
That's how it was meant to be. But
hang on 1 second. Let me check something.
Oh, here we go. He's going to his Mortal Kombat vault.
Mortal Kombat. He's going into the
eye recognition.
He's going into the crypt.
He's going through his secret portal.
Yeah.
I bet he's got one of them as well. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Let's check this script out real quick, huh?
The script. How did you manage to get a hold of that? I have no idea.
Well, I went to the 20-year reunion party in Los Angeles.
Ah, yes. I now remember. They had a copy of the script.
Yeah, a few people got one. All right, I'm looking at the Cyrax. Suddenly the tattoo comes to life, lashing out at Sonya.
No, that was terrible.
I can understand the concept behind it, but I don't know why they had to insert that, other than just to try and make Raiden and Shao Kahn and Shinnok family.
I heard somewhere that they ran out of money. That's why they had to, at the point when Shiva gets killed at the end.
It folds up like a suitcase.
Does that show up at all on the camera?
Hold on, let me.
You're gonna have to if you get rid of your thing that you've got on screen here, the Motoro thing. If you can get rid of that.
Oh,
how?
So I don't know how you do it on here, my end. So if you remove that.
All right. Remove some stream. There we go.
Okay. And then let me see if I can put you front and center.
Smoke fires.
Here we go. Oh, so it was Smoke.
It was Smoke.
Where did I hear that he's supposed to be Sector then?
Oh no.
But they did build Smoke with Sector's moves. That's how it's in this version of the script anyway.
This version.
Oh no! Hang on. Is that the finished script?
Probably.
I'm sure he's in a.
Check the front. Check the front page. Check the front so that you know which revision it is.
All right, I'll show you the date. I'll show you the production date. It's right on there.
August 14th,
it might be the finished script then. It might be the finished script. So, it might have been in a previous script where they did say that he was Sector. So I know I heard that somewhere.
We can check earlier editions of the script. We can look around for him.
I'm sure I heard it somewhere.
That would take up all stream. Just him looking for versions of the script,
It's me looking up documents and trying to get to the bottom.
Is Tamok using the crystal from Mortal Kombat Conquest to go into different realms where they've got different scripts?
Yeah.
You mean like the one that Vorpax had around her neck?
Yes.
Hey, isn't it interesting that after they did that in MK Conquest, in Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, Natara had a crystal around her neck that did that exact thing.
Yeah.
It's all influence. It's all influence.
It's all influence.
Isn't that really something?
Yeah.
And yet we're still waiting for the character Chrome to be in the games.
Chrome. Yeah.
Eventually.
Possibly.
I reckon that's what they tried to do with the Cole Young character with this old metal thing.
Chrome.
You know, maybe. Look,
Maybe.
no matter what crazy rumor it is, if it's popular enough and if everybody in the community is talking about it, pretty much at some point the developers want to do something fun with it. The Mortal Kombat games have always been like a great back and forth between the developers and the community.
Right.
You look at stuff like from Ermac to Scarlet to whatever, like, you know, Scarlet was an idea that came from fan rumors. Animalities,
Yes.
Kano doing a laser beam from his eye. Yes, and this one's a laser beam, not like Cyclops.
Optic
Like
blast.
for real, this is one of those things the developers have been really good at, was just incorporating that fan feedback and putting it right in the game. That's part of the fun of Mortal Kombat, is that they always
I reckon they should bring like a character like Chrome in, and have him be a runaway from the Lin Kuei, just to not have another Lin Kuei guy come in. Have him be a degenerate from the Lin Kuei, and he's always been hunted, and he's a Ronin now.
Hey, a cyber ninja gone wrong, you know, a mistake, an accident.
Yeah.
Could be, or
Could be.
I did a stream on the version I would do. I even come up with his own backstory, where the Lin Kuei can't find people with abilities anymore. So what they do, they bring in normal human beings or you know, beings in general, and they've got into nanotech. And the nanotech they're using on this one is the Chrome, is Chrome himself. So the nanotech, so the metal is actually nanotech. And it's actually, he couldn't, basically, he ran away, and the Lin Kuei are trying to get the tech back. They're trying to, you know, get the nanotechnology back from Chrome. And he's still on the run. He's on the run trying to learn his abilities while he's on the run. So he ends up being like the T-1000, basically.
Right.
And it's all nanotech. So it's not metal, it's nanotech. It just means that the Lin Kuei are now being a bit more, going into the tech thing more, as well as being reckless and abducting normal people.
Right.
That's how
Well,
I
in the
view
story
it.
that I invented for him, the idea was, in real life, it was a reference to the fact that Chrome was created by an accident. It was like a one-time mistake, you know, a mix-up at the paint lab. So I think it would be funny to say, hey, there was a mix-up in the Lin Kuei, and they accidentally created Chrome.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of our under ninjas fell into the vat of paint, and it just so happened that it come out the way he got.
I got a better question. How do you explain the mysterious character Aqua?
An April Fool's joke gone wrong.
Yeah, an April Fool's joke gone wrong. Yeah. And yet they managed to put him in mujins and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, you know, mujins, those
Flying.
mujin developers will take any idea. Somebody somewhere will just do it.
They'll probably
Flame, which
probably
is basically
put it.
Scorpion with fire abilities.
They'll just they'll make a character. They put Hornbuckle in the mujins. You know.
Yep.
You know, it's funny. I came up with an idea for Hornbuckle. You'll probably find this very interesting. You know how y'all remember Chan from Mortal Kombat 95?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
the brother.
the MK1 comic it mentioned that Liu Kang had a brother who went missing.
Chao Kang.
Yeah, Shao Kang. Well, basically, my take was that as a child, Liu Kang was orphaned, and he had a brother named Chan, who he tried defending. But, you know, Liu Kang got knocked out. When Liu Kang regains consciousness, he finds Chan is missing. And this is before Liu Kang is brought into the Shaolin Order of Light. And, you know, Liu Kang wants to enter the tournament because this is based on the 95 version where he wants revenge for Chan. And I had a plot point to where before Liu Kang can kill Shang Tsung, Liu Kang spares him, by the way. Shang Tsung says, oh yeah, Chan is alive. And, you know, Shang Tsung goes away. So I basically, what I did was I made Chan into a shadow priest who is serving the outworld, and that's how, and he's pretty much Hornbuckle.
So
Wow.
you wanted the brother versus brother.
Yeah, in a way.
where you was aiming
Yeah,
at?
yeah, in a way. Like how Liu Kang wants to redeem Chan and bring him back to the forces of light, but because Chan has been an outworld servant for so long, he doesn't know where his place is.
Is he? Obviously, he's still the younger brother, so the influence would have been easier. I'm guessing.
Possibly, yeah.
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 It's like you don't know when their parents were taken; they're just little brothers on the street.
I kind of like how they showed Liu Kang's parents in Battle for the Realms. Getting attacked by Tarkata.
Yeah, that was one of the. Ironically, I had the idea that Shang Tsung killed their parents in mind, but it could also be an outworld force if you want to go that route.
Yeah.
There's loads of ways we can do fan fiction.
Yeah,
there's loads. It's just that you need to find, you need to do like a poll and say which one do you like better, and just go with what's what people like the most.
Well, of course, yeah.
It's kind of a good idea.
Kind of a good idea.
I mean, when I do my live streams, I know I keep saying it. The drinking game. Dave talking about his live streams. I try to put forth as many ideas as possible, but my ideas all weave into each other, so I don't try to make them as random apart from each other. Right. So it's as if I'm making my own Mortal Kombat lore, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like I've done my own sequel film, essentially. I don't want to come up with just random ideas that don't coincide with each other, because otherwise it's just. I like to pride myself on continuity.
Right.
So that's my background when it comes to making stories, because if I see inconsistencies, it my head starts to explode.
I totally get where you're coming from, although
it jumps out at you.
Yeah.
I totally get where you're coming from, though. I also had an idea where this was pretty much made true by MK11, where the whole thing is a multiverse essentially. That there are different versions of different characters that exist in one timeline or the other.
Yeah, I don't know if I really particularly fond of that as a vehicle to fix mistakes that were made.
Right. Yeah.
You don't want to go the Marvel route.
But now that it's it, you can't really ignore it.
You can't really ignore it. But
they've done the timeline thing, but each timeline is its own story.
Yes.
It's just different events.
Just different events.
The characters don't change unless something has changed in their past to make them go a different path. But that's again one timeline, and then you got another timeline where Liu Kang, Raiden fight again, and then there's certain constants that happen that can't be changed.
Right.
So, I mean, if Raiden sending the image back to himself, I would class that as the same timeline. I don't know if that's how you do it, because he's sending it back through.
It's so confusing, actually. It's like they made shit up as they went on.
He creates a different timeline when he does that.
So he's sent back. Has he sent the message back on a separate timeline, not reversing back through the same timeline? It's just going back to the beginning instead of going instead of going down. Oh, there's the cameras there. Instead of going back through there, it's doing this and creating a new one. Do you see what I mean? It's going back through his lifeline, back through his own timeline.
I think it does go back through his own timeline, but then after he presses, imagine like there's a rewind button and then a play button.
Yeah.
Once you press that, it does rewind initially through the same timeline, but then once you hit play, then things unfold differently.
So would say that's happened, and Raiden, just before he dies, has sent that message back through time.
Yeah.
What happens to him in real time? Does that cease to exist and it's all just wiped off the map? As if it never existed?
Or how about another solution?
Or would it carry on and he has created a split
Maybe.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't carry on.
Doesn't
That
carry
So
on.
basically, then it's like the Langoliers, like the reverse Langoliers, if you know what I mean. Have you ever seen the film The Langoliers?
The Langoliers.
The Langoliers.
Langoliers. I've seen it.
Yeah. So the Langoliers eat the past away. But this time, if you're thinking it, you know, the way I'm thinking about it, once he sent back the message through time, that future has now been wiped away completely and back to zero. So there's no splits. It's just one timeline. There's no dimensions.
Yeah, because it's been rewritten.
It's just one line. And it's
Okay,
sent back
yes.
over and over and over again.
Yes, but with one caveat.
Yeah.
Sometimes people get visions or glimpses of what was going to happen.
Remnants of a timeline. Remnants.
He gets, so fractions of that timeline kind of exists within his head. Like he can sort of see into it.
Yeah.
Geras is better equipped to do that because he's built for that. So Geras can see into all the timelines. So
Yeah.
does that
This
stuff
is probably
exist?
why-
Do those people carry on? No, but Geras knows about it. And Raiden has some subconscious awareness of it.
Yeah. This is probably why, what's her name? I forgot her name. Everyone hates her. The one that controls time.
Chronica.
Chronicle.
This is probably why she wants to get rid of Raiden, because he keeps messing everything up.
Yeah.
He keeps going back and restarting. She's like,
She's supposed to be the one in charge of the timeline. That time is her deal. She's in charge of the hourglass. She's the one with the crown. For Raiden to come in with his arrogance and like start messing up her perfect creation. No. If the timeline's gonna be messed up, let it be her messed up and let her be the one to change things. She doesn't need Raiden going around behind her back and messing with her element.
this creates that incontinuity thing that I'm talking about. I need to get it off. I need to get it out. If Raiden keeps sending back messages into his own timeline, and then that future's been erased, how can he do that? But yet she's the controller of time.
He
So
picked up.
this is why I think that she's pissed off with Raiden, because he has an ability to do that, and it's something that she can't control.
Something you have to remember about Raiden.
He's an irritant.
He picked up a lot of dark magic from a cult that he had destroyed called the Huan.
Huan.
He destroyed that cult. He wiped them out. But it was with their magic that he learned how to bring back Liu Kang from the dead. And it was probably also, it doesn't say it, but reading between the lines, it was probably their magic that he learned how to mess up and interfere with time. This kind of magic is not looked upon very well by the others, especially Chronica.
Do you think this is the same magic that Dark Raiden used to revive Liu Kang into a zombie?
Yes, that's what I was referring to, exactly.
Yeah. That's interesting. So it is something that Chronica can't control, which is why she wants to get rid of him.
I mean, I think that they probably had discussed this before, in another timeline, and Raiden eventually figures out decides he's going to do it.
In another restart.
Yeah.
We go through the same timeline, remember? There's no splits. It's the same line.
Right, but
No splits. No splits. They love.
carries the memories of all of them.
No twisties.
But Chronica can remember all of them, you see?
Oh, yeah, because she's the one with the hourglass. She knows everything that's gone on.
So from her point of view, at some point in the past, she and Raiden had discussed this, but Raiden has no recollection of this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because Raiden's probably can only send back so much information.
But if you remember,
He can't send back everything. It's only certain.
But if you remember, Raiden has glimpses of these other futures. You can see him and Liu Kang fighting on all these different costumes and stuff like that. So Raiden is able to sort of, on a subconscious level, get bombarded with these images of these other timelines. But for Chronica, it comes naturally. She knows exactly what happened.
That also raises another question. If this is a singular timeline, how do you explain the other incarnations, like the movies, the novel, the comics, everything?
Well, you have to separate the movies from the comics, from the cartoons, from the games. They're all separate entities.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the games, they're always retconning their own stuff. So you have to essentially go by their latest incarnation. You have to.
Or the earliest one.
Yeah, because how I'm doing it, I'd like to do.
But then you have
stuff-
to look back then with the limitations they had back then.
Yeah.
You know.
But at the same time, I also like to do stories based on those different incarnations, as standalone stuff. They don't necessarily have to be connected to this one big universe. They could just be
Well, I mean,
one
if
offs.
you was to do your own, you could just do it at any point in the timeline and just create your own split, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Your own take from that point on.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to do the Marvel route where it just branches off different branches. That'd be probably simpler. But if you want to stick to the one timeline, then you have to stick to the constants.
I don't really want to stick to one timeline. That's the thing.
So you'd rather go the branch off route?
Yeah.
There's certain things
Branch
that I
off
think.
route?
Yeah.
There's certain events that I think were depicted better in the original games, like Mortal Kombat 2 as opposed to Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks,
Right.
It's
Yeah.
a bit more of a simpler time.
Let me just show you like 2 or 3 differences. Yeah, let's just go over 2 or 3 differences. Look, in MK2, Kano and Sonya are both tied up in Khan's arena. I think that was great. I think that tied Kano and Sonya's story together, and it made it very interesting. When they retold their story in MK Shaolin Monks and again in MK9, they didn't really show Kano tied up. It was just kind of Sonya tied up by herself.
Yeah.
When they showed Sub-Zero.
They retcon each game.
Yeah, when they showed Sub-Zero in MK2, Sub-Zero was out to try to assassinate Shang Tsung once again. Like the older brother never finished the mission; he was there to do it. Now in the new games, he's out there looking for information about his brother.
He's been hired by Shang Tsung this time.
There's that. Yeah, like in MK Deadly Alliance.
Again, they did that when it comes to Mortal Kombat mythologies.
Yes.
That's when that started.
Right. And like in MK Deadly Alliance, Cyrax had hated Johnny Cage's movies, and he wanted to beat him up he wanted a refund for Ninja Mime. In MK9, when they rebooted the storyline, Cyrax was out there to take out Johnny Cage and actually assassinate him and stuff. And it's like, okay, he didn't just get upset about his movies; he was out to kill him for real.
Wow.
That's a huge retcon. That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, Tabak knows a lot of stuff about this, and
Full of knowledge.
Nightwolf's appearance at the first tournament. I don't even know if that was a good idea.
MK1 wasn't even about good versus evil initially,
It was MK1 had a very every man for himself kind of a feel to it.
Yes, because you had because Kano wasn't originally working for Outworld. He wanted to rob Shang Tsung's island. Yeah,
he heard a rumor that Shang Tsung's palace was made of gold, and he wanted that loot for himself.
Yes.
And for the rest of the Black Dragon.
Right, yeah.
It'd be interesting to see if in the new sequel film, they want the benefit of the tournament. Do you reckon? Because one about these new characters that end up in Mortal Kombat 9 that end up in the tournament.
Yes.
Do you reckon instead of having that again, stick to the first game by having the original characters in the tournament? Outside the tournament, they can then bring in the likes of Nightwolf and Striker and Fujin and things like that in a separate plot that's outside the tournament.
I don't think they're going to do stuff like that. I mean, now that Nightwolf has been depicted as actually being in the tournament, it would be weird to have him in a movie but not at the tournament. I don't know. They basically have unlimited.
Use I have for him. It's like the use I have for certain like Cole Young. I don't want Cole Young in the tournament because then he's going to be too overpowered, and then I could see them having Cole Young win the tournament. I can see it happening.
I don't know. I don't know if they would go that far.
It will destroy the tournament, the movie franchise. So, have him in a subplot, use him better, that doesn't interfere in the tournament, but it's just as important. The subplot I come up with was Earthrealm's being invaded early.
Right.
But not by Outworld, by Netherrealm instead. because NetherRealm is not being held by any rules of any tournament. So they're invading through a secret deal with Shang Tsung. And the only people that are equipped to deal with that are the likes of Cole Young. I've got Jax there, I've got Striker there, and I've got Nightwolf there, and Fuji. So you have the tournament side of the film be as if you're playing the first game. Do you see what I mean? So it's close to the first game as humanly possible. Whereas outside of that, what we don't see in the first game is the invasion that's happening of NetherRealm. So NetherRealm's invading, and you keep who you want out of the tournament, trying to stop or slow down the invasion, hoping that Liu Kang's going to win the tournament, which then closes that portal, and then everything's fine. So you're fighting on two fronts. So it keeps fans happy by keeping Cole Young at the tournament, but it also keeps the studio happy by keeping Cole Young relevant. That's how I'd do it.
Yeah, I guess that's a pretty good balance.
I guess, but I don't know. I always liked Mortal Kombat as like very straightforward, you know, like an action flick.
I'm trying to work with what they've got because they're bringing things forward too quick anyway.
It's challenging no matter how you do it. It's
no matter how you do. I know.
Yeah. I reckon they should do the double plot. That's what I think they should do. Do a double plot.
Do a double plot.
Keep the tournament obviously the main plot, and have Liu Kang be the one to be
on the screen top runtime though, doesn't it? How much time they've got to play with?
Yeah,
they're going to need at least 2 hours. They need 2 hours because they've already done the introductions to the ones that are in the tournament, so they don't really need to do interactions there.
I would like to see a director's cut of the first film where they actually make it like 2 hours long.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Give the characters a little bit more time to breathe.
In the tournament, apart from the likes of Johnny Cage that need his moment.
Yes.
But then you can introduce the likes of Fuji, because the reason why I've got Fuji in there is because Raiden needs to look after the fighters on Shang Tsung's island. He's there as an enforcer, isn't he? To stop Shang Tsung pulling shenanigans. So he appoints Fuji to look after Earth while he's not there. So then that gives reason for Fujin to be there. The reason why you have Nightwolf there is because he comes in saying, well, if the NetherRealm take over, then my ancestors' burial grounds are ruined, and I'm there to protect them as well as protect Earth. So he's there to stop the invasion as well. Do you see what I mean? So it gives him a bit of a reason to get involved.
You know, that's interesting that you say that, because in the original Mortal Kombat 3, Nightwolf used the magic of his shaman to protect his whole sacred land. Like, that whole Native American land was off limits to Shao Kahn. Like, he could invade the rest of Earth, but Nightwolf's area he couldn't get to.
This is the twist. He's protected from Outworld, but not NetherRealm. With NetherRealm getting involved and having no boundaries, he now needs to physically get involved and help stop the invasion, or at least slow it down. Because the magic isn't going to work against NetherRealm.
Right.
That's the way I'd get around.
There's also another thing.
I'm trying to come up with ways to plausibly get these extra characters in. So if they ever do a third one, which will be the Outworld tournament, they can then have like all these characters be like the end game of Mortal Kombat. They have everyone coming to try and stop Shao Kahn. Then you've already introduced all these characters, and now you can just bring them all into the third and probably final of a trilogy, because they're going to want to do more. So you just do an Infinity War type thing.
Well, they do have a contract for at least 5 films.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, which is why I'd rather do it this way. Do the tournament, which is close to the original Mortal Kombat game.
Yes.
While you're still introducing characters outside of the tournament, while you're laying the groundwork for the NetherRealm and Quan Chi and Shinnok, it just lays that groundwork for future films that you can touch upon later. So.
Another solution will probably also do a series in addition to the do a series in addition to the films.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to doing series, you need to expand on characters more.
Yes.
So you could do single series on Nightwolf, and he's just, pardon me, going through his shaman roots.
Yeah.
And then you could do like a Johnny Cage one, where he's growing up. He feels like there's something within him, but he trains and trains and trains. Then he gets into movies, but then he wants to show that he's more than just a movie star. He feels like there's something within him more than just a movie star. So you could have that fight within him as well. You could have the Special Forces just before the Special Forces. You could have Sonya and Jax on tours.
Yes.
And show them their dynamic between them two, and coming into contact with the Black Dragon, who they deal in arms as well. So you could do a little mini series on that.
Shaolin
Some
monks.
people suggested doing a series on Edenia.
Yeah.
You could do that. Chaos Realm. Lay the groundwork for Havoc, and in the Chaos Realm as well.
Now that they have stuff like with what HBO Max is doing,
Yes.
you have a lot more options than you used to be able to do. Now, since Warner Brothers is in charge, and they put the Mortal Kombat movie front and center, and that was like their highest grossing app. If they wanted to do a spin-off series of that, they absolutely have the power to make that happen. We see Disney doing that with their Marvel properties now. We see all kinds of really good stuff coming out of them that's tied into the Avengers universe. We see they do that. Warner Brothers has their own version of that with like the Peacemaker series, which is like a really good branch off of the Suicide Squad. So there's really no reason why they couldn't branch off of the Mortal Kombat movie and kind of have a couple episodes of these, give each of these guys their own little space so we can see what they're about.
Do you see why I wanted to do this interview with Mink now?
Say that again.
Salimon because he's still passionate about Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
And to get him back to do, I don't know, a series, a few episodes. It brings him back into the fold, and then he gives him the chance to show off again.
So, Chris, were you going to say something?
Yeah, no, I was pretty much thinking it could possibly be the only real way they could really do the whole franchise justice is by doing a set of miniseries on HBO to supplement the films.
Right.
Simply, just as everyone's mentioned, that it just gives breathing space for character narrative.
Yeah.
More character development, more world building.
It gives more world building, and as you say, all the different realms and all the different origin stories. It just gives more breathing space because it's in a film. You've got to
worry about the continuity. Now, if the first film's anything to go by when it comes to writing and continuity,
it's all over the place.
If they can't do it in one film,
that was my big complaint. Was the writing on the first one?
Well, they've got a new writer. We'll see how he tackles it this time.
And have we any info on director who's directing it yet? Or
no.
We don't know about directors. We know
don't know yet.
Writer, but directors, we've heard literally nothing. Nothing from Simon McCoy.
But it's likely. I think it's likely that we're going to get a new director since we got a new writer, anyways.
Yeah, we will be directed to that information soon.
Yeah,
I think give him his one shot, and I don't think they're impressed with the feedback.
Because it was mixed.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to directing,
big film, though, wasn't it?
Please everyone though.
Well, for me, it was the continuity errors and the writing. That was it for me. The quick cuts, it did annoy me, but then I thought, well, okay, I can let it go because it's not the tournament film. I can let it slide a bit, but when it comes to the writing and the continuity errors, I couldn't let it go. It took me out. It took me out to the point where I thought, do I really want to go with the herd and rant about it online and be hateful about it? And I thought, no, because when I watched it another time, and while I was watching it, I was thinking of ways to get out of it. And that's why I did my streams. So I thought, okay, I'll do something different what no one else is doing. So when it comes to the writing, they do have outs. they're there. I've shown them.
Oh, Dave, they've got a whole world of outs. They've got a whole outworld.
Outworld, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're at the moment they're in a lot of chaos. But,
I see what you're doing.
They need a bit of order. Realm.
Yeah.
Let's just bring this whole discussion back to Earth for a minute.
The Earth realm, yeah. Before it all goes to the Nether realm.
So I've actually got to head out.
And being in the dream realm.
I've actually got to head out now. I'll just try and think of one more realm that I could sneak in here, but no, I think this is just.
I'm desperately trying to think of something, but like.
Have you already gone through the realms?
No, my head's like a big void now.
And
And on that note, I am out. Bye, guys. Thank you. Hey, Dave,
right,
before I go.
I'm gonna probably end it now. It's been nearly 2 hours, so I'm gonna let go now. But I'll do more streams like this where we could just chat and probably bring in more people.
So let me just say thank you again for doing this, Chris. It was good talking to you again. Ryu Kang, I think this was the first time we've been on a stream together, so it was awesome to talk to you face to face.
In one of Dave's stream. Other than that, we did talk on Instagram at one point, but that was a while ago.
That was a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, hey, it was really fun doing this with all you guys.
Community on these streams.
It's been a pleasure.
So take it easy, everybody.
Thank you very much for dropping in. Everyone that's going to watch this, if you feel inclined to watch this, you could, if you got questions, drop them to any of us lot. We're on Twitter nearly all the time. So yeah, we're happy to let it end here. I don't even want to know if I want to do my line. Shall I say your view is mine? I don't feel like it.
It's a good way to end it, yeah.
Okay, your view is mine. I'll take it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for everyone that dropped in. Again, sorry that it wasn't what you expected. But we'll reschedule. Another time.
And I got some questions I want to ask Mink. I definitely want to know who Mink had in mind for Liu Kang. If it was Robin Shu or anyone.
One of the questions. We don't know whether it was going to be a direct sequel or a soft reboot.
Oh, okay.
So I have got a question about actors and who we're going to play who. So again, I don't know if he's tied down. So all I can do is ask the question, and then it's up to him how he wants to answer.
Right.
But yeah, I've got questions that ones that I want to ask about, the subtitle as well. It wasn't going to be called Devastation.
It was going to be called
Crusade. Something else. So I was going to get into all that and just let him go off and talk about it.
Yeah.
But we'll see next time. Hopefully you guys will come back. You probably won't be able to come onto the stream because it'll be just me and him. But then if he has to leave early, if any of you guys want to pop on and have a chat after, I can stay on the stream and then you guys can come on. But we'll see how it goes.
See how it goes, yeah.
Hey, sounds good, man.
Oh, thank you. So thank you guys for coming on and filling the void again. So, but yeah, I'll do some more streams like this, just off the cuff streams, and see if you're available. Just drop in. It'll be a different link. It won't be the same link. I'll do a separate link.
Obviously.
So thank you very much, and your views are mine. See you later. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Later.
Later.